So I did something really stupid tonight that's now playing on my mind a lot. In one of my previous videos, I kind of discussed the downfall of my friendship with my two best friends, Clara and Hannah, and I also mentioned kind of the aftermath with Clara and what happened when I didn't see her at a shopping centre. And I was going through my Facebook messages and I came across the group chat because what had happened was, because I wasn't friends with any of those people in the group chat, instead of just being added to it, it went into my spam inbox and I didn't realise. I thought I would just be added to the group because I was at least friends with Jack. I didn't realise it would go any other place on my Facebook except into my normal kind of messaging. But I came across it tonight and I thought it'd be a great idea to look through those messages and just go right back down memory lane. And it's hurt. You know, I look at what was said about me and how people said it's not that big of a deal that Madison isn't liked. It's not our problem. She should just get over it. And that hurt because these were people I was friends with in high school, who I cried with on my graduation, who we said we were going to keep in contact. They just didn't care. And then I look back at the messages that Clara sent. She called me a bitch and a horrible person and all these really, really nasty things. And for the majority of the time, I think it's completely unjustified. I mean, I walked past her at a shopping centre. How is calling me a bitch justified, and calling me these horrible things and these awful names? How is that fair? It's silly, but when I read through the messages tonight, I look back and I go, or I look at myself and I go, is it deserved? Am I a bad person who deserves for people she used to be friends with to not care about her? Am I a bad person? Did I deserve those things to be said about me, even though I didn't intentionally walk past her? Does that still make me a bitch? Does that still make me someone who can... She said I blackmailed her or I manipulated her, and I don't know what she's talking about there, and it's very confusing because is it all true and I'm just in denial? I'm trying to go through this thing where I try to be fair to myself and try to imagine people who I love saying these things about themselves, but this time around it's not me being harsh to myself, it's someone else saying these things to me. And is it okay? Is what they're saying true? Am I a really bad person and I'm just not admitting to it? And it's really messed with my head. And I kind of wish I could talk to all of them and know if they still felt this way about me, or was it a spur of the moment sort of thing? Because I don't know what I did to most of them besides not keeping contact. Does me removing them from my Facebook because I was angry at what happened between Clara and Hannah and I, did that make me deserve all this? Because I knew that Hannah and Clara were closer to them, and I just kind of wanted to lose connection, especially with Hannah and Clara, because when I'm told I'm not allowed to speak to someone anymore, I try to cut off all types of contact with them so I won't be tempted. And that's what I did, is I removed every kind of contact I could have with either of them. I blocked their phone numbers, I deleted them on social media apps, and I even deleted people who were really close to them on the social media apps because I was just in such a bad place that I didn't want to see anything. It was kind of like a cleanse. And, you know, it was never a personal thing. Whenever I delete people off Facebook, it's never ever personal, especially when it comes to those type of cleanses. Like when Jack and I broke up, I removed all of his family members, and it wasn't because I was angry with them or I didn't like them anymore. It was simply because I needed to remove all sources of contact, and that included them. And, you know, even though Jack and I are in a good place now, I'm still not friends with him on the social media apps. We don't connect through that. We only connect through messaging and going out. It's all these thoughts of maybe I did deserve everything that happened. You know, when you're on one side of something, you tend to make yourself out to be the person who's right, to be the victim. And did I victimize myself? Were they completely right and I've just been too blind to see it? It's just it's hard. I've only got one friend left from high school, my best friend. Oh, sorry, if you include Jack, that's two people I'm still friends with from high school. And I kind of look at it and go, did I deserve this? I know I was a shitty person in year 11 and 12. I know I treated people horribly. I know I did really either mean or selfish, or even when I was dating Jack, kind of gross things. Because I've said before, we were that gross couple making out in the hallways. And did everyone hate me that much that just through year 12 they were pretending to be my friend? Because it's easier to pretend to be friends with someone for 12 months than to create this whole drama of cutting them out of your friend group. I kind of wonder if that's what Hannah and Clara did, if they just decided they could put up with me for 12 months. And once that 12 months was over, or was the cruise the breaking point? You know, I tried to get in contact with some of the people, especially the two guys that I was closest to, who were Clara and Jack's best friends. I tried messaging them a couple times, and I've never heard back from them. One of them got back to me, but you know, the one that got back to me was also the one that ended up saying he said to Jack that I deserved it, that I was in the wrong. And it just keeps going around and around in my head. You know, I'll be going to sleep one night and I'll start crying and going, at what exact point did I do something wrong? If I changed that one thing, would everyone still have these feelings about me? I don't want to say, do they hate me, or if they hate me, because I don't know. I haven't talked to them. From their actions, I feel like they hate me. But for everyone except Clara, they haven't come out and outright said that they hate me. Clara, and I think I called the guy Swan, the one that had an assistant with Jackson, my breakup, you know. They're the only two that have come and called me names, but I think both of them have called me a bitch. Both Clara and Swan. And are they right? I mean, no one else has really ever called me, like in jest, they have, or people that didn't really know me to try and pick on me have, but I've never had people who know me call me a bitch? And do they call me that because they've seen the real side of me? The side I pretend that's not there, the side that is extremely selfish and self-centered. And it's hard to kind of admit all these things to yourself, and to know where you're being fair to yourself and when you're being unfair, whether that being you're being too harsh or you're being too lenient on yourself. I don't know where that line's drawn. Maybe I should talk about some other things now. On happy news, I think I'm starting to lose weight. Since the 2nd of January, I've been doing the 30-day sit-up challenge, which is when you start at 12 sit-ups and every single day you add another, I think it's 6 to it. So tonight I'll be completing 184. And this is the second final night that I'll be doing it. I'll be doing the challenge again starting on a new month. And I'll start from the beginning again, but this is the longest I've ever stuck anything out, health-wise. You know, I'll go, oh, I want to lose weight, and maybe for like a week or something I'll be really eating healthy and working out. And this is kind of the first time that I've stuck something out for a long period. Like, this is 4 weeks. I'm up to day 28 of it, and to me that's quite an amazing thing for me to have done. I also think I've been losing weight because I've been doing the intermittent fasting. I've been doing the 16-8, which is where you don't eat for 16 hours and then you eat for 8 hours, or you eat in that 8-hour period. I kind of do my dinner in that 8-hour period. So I think that that's helped, and it's kind of hard to know if I lose weight because women's clothes I find are really unfair. I've got a photo where I've got a size 20, a size 18 and a size 14 pants, all jeans, and all 3 of those fit me. The 20 is a bit big, but I fit into a size 14. I would say my normal size is at the moment 16 to 18, more on the 18 side. But how can I go from a 20 to a 14? That's 16, 18, two sizes difference, 3 sizes difference. You know? And so I think I've lost weight. You know, I'll go into a shopping centre and I'll want to try on some pants because I want to go down a size to kind of go, yes, I've done something. Instead of being a size 20, now I'm an 18. Instead of being an 18, I'm a 16. And, you know, I try on one pair of pants and I have to go up to a 20 in them because they're so freaking tight, but then I go to another store and I can fit into a 16 and they're just as tight as what the 18s that I previously tried on, or the 20s I previously tried on, and yet they are the smaller size. And I feel like 16's kind of when you start getting into the plus size range. There's some stores that carry 16s and that's where they cut off, but they're small 16s. And then there's plus size stores that start at a 16, or they start at an 18. And there's a store in Australia, it's Forever New, and it's got really nice clothes in it, but I could never fit into them properly, not since 2016-17. I haven't been able to fit into those clothes, and so that's kind of my goal, is to be able to fit into those clothes again. And I've got dresses in my closet that I bought when I was 16, 17, that I haven't worn since then, and even if they're no longer age appropriate, if I could just fit into them again. You know, my bridesmaid's dress or my formal dress that I only wore 3 years ago, I'd like to think that if I tried those on right now that they would fit, but I don't know. I think I think they'd be too small. I'd hope they'd fit. I don't think I've put on that much weight, especially now that I'm starting to lose it again. But, and I look at photos of when I was in year 7, year 8, year 9, and I thought I was this huge monster, this really, really fat person. And I look at those photos and I'm no way fat. I'm normal. I'm the kind of weight I should be at that age. And I don't know how I got it into my head that I was fat. And now I am fat. And I look back and I'd give anything to go back to those smaller sizes. I had a photo shared on my timeline today of me in year 7. And I hated my body so much back then. And I look at the photo now and I go, but why? Why did I hate it? There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. Really long silence. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts together. I think just reading those messages has really messed me up. Because, you know, I hear myself talking and I go, are people going to interpret me as being a bitch from my videos? And I've seen that I've gotten a couple views, and I don't know if it's people I know or people I don't know. And if they're people that I don't know, how are they interpreting me from these videos? If it's people I do know, are they people that are going to see me differently, or are they people that already hate me and these videos are kind of, well, I don't want to say hate, they already have a certain idea about me, and are these videos justifying that idea that I'm not a good person? And something else that's making me feel shitty lately is that I don't have a job, and I've been job hunting, and I don't know if it's because I don't have the skills. I don't know if it's because of the way I look. I don't know if it's because of the way I talk. I like to think that I'm a friendly, approachable person, especially when it comes to interviews, because I do want to put on, well, I kind of amp it up. It's not that I'm faking who I'm being, but I kind of amp it up, especially because I'm going for jobs in customer service. So I want to seem like that really friendly and approachable person. And what is it that's not getting me through to that next stage? You know, when they meet me, do they have a certain look in mind? Because I've got blue dyed hair. Is that kind of what's pushing me back? Because they can never say it. They can never say it's the way you look, but I know it's a contributing factor. And I love my hair like this. I love being able to express myself through hair colors. You know, I've never dyed my hair blue. I've had this for since November. I've had the blue in the front and the kind of pinky rose in the back. And I never thought I'd be able to do this. I never thought I'd have the confidence to kind of do this sort of hair, because it's definitely one that attracts an amount of attention. You know, I have people that when I'm walking past them, they'll stop me and say something about my hair, and that makes me feel good, but also at the same time rises the anxiety I feel rises. And I just like to give a shout out to my hairdresser, because people always say that they love my hair, and yes, it's my hair, but my hairdresser's the one that does it all. You know, all I do is have it on my head. She's the one that works out the dyeing process and how to make it look so good. And, you know, I guess I want people's approval. One thing I struggle severely when it comes to work is that when you do something right, you're not going to get a pat on the back all the time. It's rarely going to be acknowledged that you've done a good job. But I thrive on that positive feedback of people saying you're doing well, you've done well, keep going. And if I don't get that, I feel like I'm failing. And then if I get any negative feedback, I feel even worse about myself. You know, at my previous job, at the end of every phone interaction, we'd have to advise them that there's an interview, or not an interview, sorry, a questionnaire, a little survey that they could take. And I remember there was this one lady who would always call us. She would call us about 2 or 3 times a week, and apparently she'd been calling there for about 12 plus months, and she'd never taken the survey. And she took it for me to give me really high ratings and to say what a good job I was doing. And that made me feel amazing that she took the time, that she's not done it for anyone else of my co-workers who she's also spoken to, she's had interactions with, she probably knows better, but she took the time to do it for me. And that felt really good. But then I'd have one ticket come through that I'd messed up a little bit. I'd put the name in the wrong spot, or I'd not put the correct number in the correct place. It's something that's really easily fixable, but I just feel like absolute shit. And I'd usually go home going, why do I do this? I'm clearly not good enough. Why do I bother? Not just working, but at life, you know? If I'm going to continue to fuck up, why keep trying? And it's very selfish thoughts to have, and I recognize that, but they're still there. And I don't know if it's my anxiety or my mental health that makes me need that pat on the back, or if it's a product of my generation, because I'm a Zoomer, a Zennial, and, you know, we were the generations that got the participation trophies, that if you rocked up, you just got a ribbon, and we got told all the time that we were doing a good job. And now that I'm an adult and I don't have the adults around me telling me that I'm doing a good job, is that why I'm feeling this kind of way? Or is it to do with other factors that I can't control? But I've got a job interview on Monday that I'm looking forward to, and it's a good and a bad thing, because I love the experience of job interviews, because each time you learn something a little different, a new little thing that you can use if you need to go for another job interview. I love interacting with people and meeting new people and having a talk with them. But, you know, if I don't get that call back to say, you got it, I'm going to be sitting there and going, what did I do wrong, you know? I filled out a 10 questionnaire for another company that said they'd shortlisted me, and I filled it out, and it was this massive thing. It nearly took me 2 hours to fill out, because I had to be really honest with myself, and I had to be honest with the fact that they said what was a negative, or what did you do wrong at your last job. And I had to say I was really competitive. You know, we got to look at our statistics, and if I wasn't hitting the most calls or the most tasks, I'd get upset with myself. I'd be going, what am I doing wrong? And I'd get really competitive and push myself to standards that I couldn't meet. You know, the target was 80 tasks and 30 phone calls, and in total that's 120. I hope I'm at 110. I can't math today. And, you know, if I wasn't reaching 140, 150, I'd feel like a failure. But then there were other people that weren't hitting, like, were barely hitting the 50s and 60s, and was I setting myself up to fail, or was it unfair to compare myself to them because the tickets that I did were easy tickets? You know, I keep saying, you know, but... And I'm signed up with a disability employment service provider. I kind of need that support once I'm in a job. That kind of prerequisite that they know that there's something that's wrong with me. Because I had to, in my last job, I took 2 weeks off, and then I came back for 3 more months, and then I had to leave because of my mental health. And in my job before that, in 2018, I had to take 2 or 3 weeks off for my mental health. I was very lucky at that first job I had where I had my traineeship, that they were understanding, that they knew, that they were willing and waiting for me to come back. But not this one. They asked me to quit. They said, you need to think about, is it better for you to resign? Because we need to know what you're doing. And I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was going into hospital. And I thought resigning was the right thing to do. Should I have stuck it out? You know, do I quit things the moment they become too hard? Am I a failure because I couldn't continue to do this job, because I had to put my hand up and say I'm not okay, that I'm going through mental health issues? And I talked about it last time. That's really hard for me to do even now. Like, I'm better at talking about it with my parents, but I still really struggle to put my hand up and say that there's something wrong, that I need help. Because I feel like I'm failing if I do that, because there's so many people that go through their lives and they never need any type of help. They can do it all the time. And here's someone who hasn't been able to do it at all. You know, every single year I've had to ask for help. And does that just make me a failure of a person? You know, there's 19, 20-year-olds who have moved out of home, who have full-time jobs or are going to university or college, and they have a career set out for them, and I don't have any of that. Does that make me a failure of a person for not having my life together? Should 19, 20-year-olds have their life together, or am I putting myself up to fail again because I'm looking at 25, 30-year-olds and going, I want that. I've always wanted to chase what my sister has. You know, she's 5 years older than me, and she's got the house, she's got the stable job, she's got the husband. And I look at myself and I go, am I failing because I don't have that? Or am I setting up too high of a standard for myself at 19, 20 to have that? I think I'm just going to end this one. Because I don't know what to do at the moment. I probably won't make another video until Monday, but at least I'll get to show off my new tattoo. And the good news about my tattoo is I kind of researched yellow ribbons and their meanings, and not only do they represent endometriosis, but they also represent suicide prevention. So this tattoo will have a double meaning for me. It'll be something for my sister and something for myself. I still think it'll be more for my sister. If people ask me about it, I'll say it's there to represent my sister and her endometriosis struggle. But now it's got a connection to myself as well, and you know, it's going to be good, the three of us getting it. It's something that ties the three of us together. And when I told Mum today, she said, good, it represents both of my daughter's struggles. And that, yeah, that it made me feel a bit guilty and selfish again, because I'm turning something that's supposed to be about my sister over to myself. And I didn't expect to find that. You know, I wanted to find out what red ribbons mean, or green ribbons mean, or all these different ones, because you know the pink ribbon represents breast cancer, and I wanted to find out all these different meanings. And when it comes to ribbons and their meanings, it's dependent on the category you look at. You know, the colours of ribbons are different from illness to mental health to, you know, there's specific ones for different types of cancer. Was it selfish of me to bring it up and try to make it about myself, to say, oh, look, it can be about me too? Should I have just kept my mouth shut and not said anything and let it be about my sister completely? I don't know. I'm still very excited to get the tattoo though, so I'll have that to show off in the next video.